In section 2.3 here, we are going to look at measures of location of the data. So measures of relative position. The first measure we'll consider is the percentile. So the kth percentile is the value that has k% of the data at or below it. So for example, the 80th percentile is going to be the value with 80% of the data at or below it. So how do we find this percentile? Well, let's let k represent the kth percentile, that data value. I is going to be the index or the position of a data value, and n is going to be our total number of data values. So the first thing you do is order your data from smallest to largest, and then you compute the index of the kth percentile. You take k divided by 100, multiply by n plus 1. If that value I is an integer, kth percentile will be in position I. If I is not an integer, you're going to round the values in the positions just below and just above I. So the kth percentile will be the average of the values in these positions. So let's illustrate with an example. It'll help make this process a little clearer. So we're going to consider data on the 19 most valuable companies in the world by stock market capitalization. These values are in billions of dollars. Notice that these values are already ordered from smallest to largest. So we're going to compute the 15th percentile. So, 75th percentile. And then we want to know, what does that mean? So our value of k here is 75. We want the 75th percentile. And then n, the total number of values here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19. So we're now going to compute our index I. So I is going to be equal to 75 over 100. And then times n is 19, so 19 plus 1. And if you do the calculator work there, that will give you 15. So that means that our 75th percentile is in position 15. So our 75th percentile is going to equal, so we'll just count up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Right there is the 15th position, $919 billion. And what does that 919 mean? That means that 75% of the market cap values are at or below 919. How about the 88th percentile? So k and n stay the same. Compute our I here, which is going to be 88 divided by 100, and then multiply by that 19 plus 1. And if you do the calculator work here, you will get 17.6. So that's not an integer. So the next integer down from that, we round it down, we get 17. And if we round it up, we get 18. So we're going to average the values in the 17th and 18th position. So remember, this was the 15th position. So 16, 17, and 18. So our 88th percentile is going to be the average of 1286 and 1359. So we'll add those guys together and divide by 2. And I just noticed here that I said 1359, but I wrote 1386. That doesn't work too well. There we go. And if you average these guys, you'll get 1322.5. So just plug into the calculator. So 1322.5, which is not one of the data values, that is a value though, where 88% of the data is below it. So our Apple computer has a market cap of $1,286 billion. So right here is Apple. It's in 17th position. And we want to know what percentile is this and what does that mean? So we'll do that using the following formula, x plus 0.5y over n, where x is the number of data values that are less than the value you're comparing to, and y is the number of data values that are equal to the value you're comparing to. So that allows if you've got repeated values. So here we don't have any repeated values, so we count up, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 values that are less than Apple's market cap. So 16 plus, and y is the number that are equal, and that is just this one value. So 16 plus 0.5 times 1, so 16 plus 0.5, and then n as above is the total number of values, which for us was 19. And so we've got 16.5 divided by 19, and if you compute that on the calculator, you will get 86.8, which is the 87th percentile. And that looks like a 2, that should be a 7. There we go. And then we just want to decide what that means. 87th percentile, that means that 87% of the data is at or below 1286. So 87% of the data at or below 1286.